Welcome to Look, Live, and Be Better on Facebook Live. My name is Dr. Anthony Youn, America's holistic plastic surgeon, and today we're going to talk about two very popular anti-aging super drinks. We're going to talk about matcha tea and about kombucha. Now, you may have heard of these. You may be drinking them, and if you've ever wondered, are they really good for you? Do they really help make you healthier, help you age more slowly? Well, today I am going to give you the straight scoop. Okay, so are these really matcha and kombucha, the anti-aging super drinks that they're made out to be? Well, the first one we're going to talk about is matcha. Matcha tea basically means powdered tea. And unlike regular tea, these are actual green tea leaves that are dried and they are finely powdered, and then you mix these tea leaves with water. Typically it's 1 teaspoon of the matcha powder with about a 1/3 cup of hot water, and you drink that basically combination. Now afterwards, or after mixing it, then typically the traditional way is to use a bamboo whisk, and this bamboo whisk will help to kind of whisk it into a nice frothy drink. And that's basically what matcha tea is. Well, is matcha tea better than green tea? That's a big question. Now, if you've read my book, The Age Fix, I've mentioned the beneficial effects of green tea on your diet, on your health, and on your aging. So what's good about green tea? Well, green tea, the leaves are left behind. You know, that's really how we drink tea, is we don't actually eat the leaves, we just leave the leaves behind and let that water basically have the tea leaves substance absorbed into it. Well, green tea, as you probably know, it's rich in antioxidants. That's why green tea is so good for you. And that's why it's so great for your skin and it's great for your aging. Green tea contains a very small amount of caffeine. Not a big deal. For some people, it actually helps them feel a little bit more alert in the morning. But the amount of caffeine in green tea is about 1/2 to 1/3, sometimes even less, than what you get from a cup of coffee. So it's not a huge amount of caffeine you get from green tea. And green tea has a mild flavor. Even so, with this mild flavor, some people don't like it, but in general, it's a mild flavor. It's something that a lot of people can drink and really enjoy. So what's the difference then between green tea and matcha tea, the popular matcha tea? Well, with matcha, like I mentioned earlier, the matcha tea leaves, the green tea leaves, are actually consumed with the water. It does contain, according to different studies, anywhere from 2 to 10 times the antioxidants in green tea, and that's why a lot of people are so fond of matcha tea. You can get 2 to 10 times the antioxidant content in 1 cup of matcha tea compared to green tea. So that's a big deal. However, because you're consuming the actual leaves, you do get much more caffeine. And the studies show that the amount of caffeine in 1 cup of matcha tea is approximately equal to the amount of caffeine in a cup of coffee. So definitely, if you've got a caffeine sensitivity, this is something you want to know about. And matcha tea has a stronger flavor. Some people almost call it an earthy flavor. And so if you don't like the taste of green tea, if you feel like that's too strong, then most likely you're not going to like matcha tea either. And finally, there are some concerns about lead in the tea. And there's concerns about lead in tea made from China typically. The idea is that there's more lead in the environment, possibly from the old leaded gas. So if you're going to drink tea, ideally you want to avoid the tea that's made in China. The tea made in Japan, made in the United States, is most likely much safer. When you're dealing with matcha tea, you're actually consuming those tea leaves, and so the amount of lead could be significantly higher if you consume it. So if you're going to consume matcha tea, make sure you get it either from the United States, make sure it's organic, or from Japan, which appears to be very safe as well. I would be very cautious about drinking matcha tea made in China. So what's my take on matcha tea? Well, matcha tea is great for people who love green tea. The flavor is even stronger. If you like the flavor of green tea, you will probably love the flavor of matcha. It has a lot of antioxidants, and these antioxidants are very anti-aging, which does make it a great super drink for your skin, for your health, and for aging. It is a good substitute for coffee. If you drink green tea and you say, well, there's not enough caffeine, it doesn't give me the boost that my coffee does, you may want to try matcha, because you're going to get a lot of great antioxidants and you'll get that nice boost of caffeine too. But if you're going to drink matcha, I do recommend you limit it to 1 glass. And one major reason is the lead. 1 glass a day because of the potential lead concerns. Be very careful with it. Okay, so matcha, a great anti-aging super drink. Just be careful of where you source it from. Okay, so matcha does get a double thumbs up overall. All right, well, what about kombucha? Now, you may have seen bottles of kombucha at your grocery store. This is one, GT's. There's another one here. They come in all different flavors. There's typically an original flavor, and sometimes they'll do ginger tea flavor, lemonade, lots of different varieties. Okay, now kombucha is a fermented beverage that's composed of black tea and sugar. Okay. And kombucha technically means mushroom tea, and this is a description of what happens when it ferments. Basically, SCOBY, S-C-O-B-Y, is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, and this symbiotic colony of yeast are combined with black tea and sugar to ferment it, okay? And this black tea sugar fermented combo then creates the kombucha, and you can get this kind of mushroom of the SCOBY on top of it quite often. And if you look closely at the kombucha, you'll even see little bits of bacteria that are actually floating in it, okay? So you can get these little bits of bacteria floating in the kombucha tea, and those are actually really good bacteria for your system. So what are the good things about kombucha? What are the thumbs up about it? Well, it does contain powerful antioxidants. Because it's made from black tea, and some of it's actually made from green tea, you get a lot of powerful antioxidants that you can get with green tea and you can get with matcha. The probiotics are the big thing about kombucha that a lot of people like, and that's one reason why it's so popular. Probiotics are good bacteria for your gut. These are not bacteria that you have to worry about that are going to get you sick or anything, but kombucha is a great way to get those probiotics to help heal your gut. It is also a great source of iron. You know, it's kind of a surprising source, but a good source of iron. So this is something I'm looking at for people potentially post-surgery that could potentially benefit them. It's also filled with glucosamines, and glucosamines are great for joint health. So if you're a little bit older, if you've got arthritis, the glucosamine could be very, very good for your joints. And it does have a kind of a sweet and a sour taste to it. So for those of you who are trying to wean yourself off of soda, off of pop, and you kind of like a good strong taste, kombucha might be a pretty good option for you because you're going to get a good strong taste to it. It's not going to be bland like you may feel like a green tea might be. But what are the bad things about kombucha? Well, like anything, kombucha is not a perfect drink, and so this is something you definitely need to be aware of. Kombucha typically contains sugar, okay? And some bottles, like this bottle here, a very popular one, contains 7 grams of sugar, and a lot of kombucha contains even more. So be careful and take a look at the labels. If you've got kind of a fancy flavor to it, then make sure that it doesn't have a lot of sugar. I've seen some bottles of kombucha with 9 grams and more of sugar. It also has a high amount of acidity, and so if you've got heartburn, if you've got issues with ulcers or gastritis, you may want to be careful with drinking kombucha because the acidity is quite high in the drink. It also does contain some alcohol. Typically the alcohol is a small amount, 0.5% or less. Be careful with homemade kombucha because sometimes that can have a lot more alcohol in it, so be very aware of that. And it does contain caffeine. The amounts of caffeine are typically not great, but like any type of a tea, there is caffeine in kombucha. So what's my take of kombucha? Well, this is a great source of adding probiotics to your diet, especially if you are lactose intolerant. Lactose intolerant, hard to have yogurt, dairy type drinks like that can help with probiotics. If that's the case, then kombucha may be a good option for you. But you want to limit your kombucha intake to about a half a glass a day, or a glass every other day. You don't want to drink too much kombucha because it can be bad for you. And you definitely want to avoid kombucha if you're sensitive to caffeine, if you're sensitive to the acidity, if you're sensitive to alcohol and sugar. And I would not allow children to drink kombucha. You also want to avoid it if you're pregnant, if you're nursing, and if you have a poor immune system. Once again, because of the caffeine, because of the alcohol, because of the bacteria, even though it's good probiotics, just be very cautious. Definitely if you're pregnant or nursing, do not drink kombucha. And ideally, if you're going to try kombucha, try the pre-made stuff. This is one, like I said, from GT's. Tastes really good. Be careful with homemade kombucha to start out with. You really want to make sure you know what you're doing so you get the good bacteria and you avoid having too much alcohol, which, as we all know, is a toxin.